Hi, I'm Joyce.
And I'm Adriel.
And we are Divinely
Divinely
Guided. And tonight we are going to talk to you again from our general theme of self-care. And today we're going to focus a little bit on meditation. Last week we talked to you a little bit about yoga. Hopefully some of you have decided you want to try yoga and reap some of the great benefits. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about yoga. Not yoga, about meditation.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'll be very honest, Adriel. When I first, heard about yoga or first started hearing people talk about yoga, I thought of it as some kind of, newfangled, what is the word that I might use that I thought it was? Some gimmicky practice. But I was speaking to a group of faculty members at Auburn University, and I was running late to speak to them. So I was running from my office across campus, and I was out of breath, and I got to the meeting, and the meeting had already started, and the lady in front of me who was speaking right before me was actually taking time to do a meditation with the group.
Oh, so you mean meditate? You said yoga.
Oh,
this whole time
sorry.
I thought you were talking about yoga.
Did I say yoga?
Yeah, you thought yoga was gimmicky or something.
No, I thought meditation was some gimmicky, feel good kind of something that I wasn't sold on. And I spent all that time talking about meditation. You thought I was talking about yoga?
Yeah, that's wondering.
But anyway, so that's what I thought about meditation. Meditation, my bad. But still, the story still applies. So I went into the room. They had already started. The people who were presenting in front of me were doing a meditation with the group. And they had everybody sitting. And so I got in there right in time for them to start that meditation with the group. And so, of course, a lot of meditation focuses on just slowing down, calming down, breathing deeply, just being in the moment. Mm-hmm. And so that was precisely what I needed at that moment. We went through the breathing exercise. We had to breathe deeply and just slow down. And I was literally, my mind was racing, my body was racing, my heartbeat was racing, everything was racing. And then in that moment, while they were going through the meditation, I sat there and I participated fully and I did the deep breaths. And I had a moment to just still my mind and my spirit and my body. And it was like someone had given a thirsty person a giant bottle of cold water. It was exactly what I needed in that moment. And it calmed me down and it quieted me down and it prepared me so that when it was my turn to speak to the group, I was ready to present to the group. But after that, then I sought that group out to come and speak to some of our nonprofit partners and share that experience with them, because I know they live in a world where there are a lot of stresses, a lot of pressures, a lot of activities, a lot of responsibilities. And so it's easy to just start mind racing, body racing, spirit racing, just all the noise and the chatter and I have to and I need to and I've got to going on in your head all the time. And so I brought that to them, and then I started finding meditations myself online and in books that I could do. And then it really became an important part of my self-care. Because it really, being a mother, a wife, a sister, a co-worker, being an instructor, all those different things, my mind was just racing and racing constantly. And so meditation helps me to just calm down, to breathe deeply, to slow down. And I love it right before prayer because it helps me to calm down enough and calm my mind so I feel like I'm more clear on what I need to ask God for. And I'm more clear on listening and hearing what he's saying back to me. So I love the practice of meditation. I like it in the morning when I'm getting my day started. I love it at night when I'm calming down and getting ready to go to sleep. And it's just an important part of my self-care. So what about you in meditation? Is it something that you enjoy a lot?
Yes. I will comment real quick on something you just said before I lose track of it. You said that you like to meditate before prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Me too, because the way I look at meditation, meditation is when God is talking to you. And prayer is when you then talk to God.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I think about it. That's the way I meditate. So I think it's interesting that you said that. But side note, so back to the question you asked me. So I started meditating because of you. So
yeah, I tell everybody meditate.
Yeah, so I started meditating because of you, and it was when I was in college. So it's been a couple years now that I've meditated, and I had really bad like stage fright. Because I was a music major, and so I would perform in front of like big crowds of people, and it was like the most horrific thing ever. And so I would like have panic. I would have full blown panic attacks like on stage, and I played the flute, and so your hands are out to the side, and so I'd be shaking. I had mastered the art of how to have a good performance while having a panic attack. And while you're having a panic attack, you can't breathe, and you need a whole lot of air to play a musical instrument like that. So it was a skill that I had to learn, but. Then one day you were like, you should just try meditating before you go on stage. And so you sent me some like an hour-long meditation. I did the whole thing. But before I went on stage, I sat in one of the practice rooms in the dark and I did the meditation. And I never performed without meditation prior to the performance again. Like it was life-changing. So that's how I started.
Right. And that's my answer to a lot of people. And if you are someone who knows me closely, I've probably told you at some point, you need to meditate. Because I know I have shorter ones now because I know people won't sit still that long for a full hour. But I do send people the 10-minute or the 5-minute ones because you don't have to sit a long time. But I do tell people, you need to meditate. And I know one of my sisters like, don't tell me I need to meditate. And she actually did it when I sent her one of the meditations. And now she does it all the time as well. But she thought I was crazy when I told her, you need to meditate.
Meditation is amazing, though.
It is. And so I really encourage anybody. If you need to slow down, if you need to calm down, just sit for a few minutes. There are so many guided meditations online, and really they are specific as to what it is you feel you need in the moment. Do you need to practice gratitude? There are meditations on gratitude. Do you need to practice self-confidence so you can walk in your confidence? There are meditations on building self-confidence. Because what you're really doing with meditation is you're quieting your mind, body, and spirit. And then instead of your mind racing, you are directing your mind. You're telling your mind, this is what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on gratitude. We're going to focus on being prepared and ready for the day. And so you're telling your mind, rather than having your mind tell you, you need to do this and be that, and you should have done that, and you should have said that, and you were a mess when that happened, because your mind can tell you all of that. But meditation, you tell your mind what you want it to receive. And you can sit in that quietness. And there's nothing quite like the quietness when you have stilled your body and your mind and your spirit. And that's why I say it really helps me it clears me enough that I know this is what I need to pray about. And this is what I need to ask God about. And this is what I want to improve myself on. And it helps me to do that. So it's really a critical part of my self-care. And as I started out by saying, I really encourage you, if you feel like you need some quiet, if you feel like you're being torn in 1,000 different places, just sit for a moment and meditate. Even if you start out with just 5 minutes, it can be, it can alter the trajectory of your day. It really can. So, would you agree? Yeah. And then one of the other areas specifically, there are different forms of meditation. And like I said, I always recommend to people the guided meditations that you can find. There are books on meditations. I have some books on meditation. But one form of meditation that you've gotten into recently is the sound bath. Tell us about sound bath.
Okay. I've been doing sound baths, I think, since 2019, I think. I started them again in college, just as a form of stress relief. I found them online. And essentially what a sound bath is somebody like playing, usually those, you've probably seen it before, those crystal singing bowls. And they like hit it with their mallet and they run the mallet along the edge of it. And it just creates this really peaceful frequency and it really helps you to relax. It's very amazing. You can do them online. Sometimes I'll actually go to them in person down at the yoga studio that I teach at. They also offer sound baths. So that's another type of meditation. Those are super relaxing.
So what are you doing while they're doing the different sounds? Okay, so, or do you go in, you lay down, you sit out? What do you do?
You lay down.
You lay down.
Yeah, you in the studio you'll get a mat and a blanket and a pillow. Some people bring pillows from home. Like you get very comfortable, and the lights are out, and she's just in the front of the room playing the instruments, and she'll get up and walk around, and it's incredibly peaceful.
And how long will a general session last if you're doing that?
An
sound
hour.
bath?
It's about
An hour?
Yeah, and it's just long enough for you to enter that like really great place between awake and asleep, and so you're completely calm. And they say that a sound bath is equivalent to having like multiple nights sleep or something like that. Don't quote me on it, but it's like it's really resting, really rejuvenating. It really is.
Wow, I can only imagine, because just regular meditation, does that for me.
Yeah,
makes me feel refreshed. I don't have to do a sound bath. I've seen it on a movie.
You have.
I've seen it done on a movie, but I've never tried it myself.
Go to a sound bath. They play, the instruments are really cool. I thought about getting into they call that sound facilitation or something like that myself, but I don't know. We'll see. It is very interesting though.
Okay. Well, we'll have to give it a try. How about you? Anybody out there listening, watching? Have you had a sound bath before? Have you tried it? Did you find it relaxing and restorative? And what about meditation in general? What do you practice meditation of any sort? What are your thoughts on it? Would you recommend it to someone? What are some of the benefits that you found? Please share that in the comments below. We hope that. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say about meditation?
Oh, I had like one more thing.
Please.
Just to kind of tie our episodes together.
Okay.
We were talking about yoga last time. This time we're talking about meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So, without trying to get too deep into this, because no one asked for all this, meditation is actually a part of the yoga philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
So, you don't really do one without the other.
Okay.
Because the physical practice is called like that. That's what most people think of when they think about yoga.
Mm-hmm.
We call that the asana practice. But there's also this, what's it called? Yeah, there's asana practice, there's pranayama practice, and then there's the meditation practice or the dhyana practice.
Mm-hmm.
And so you do all those things. So pranayama is breath work, but then meditation or dhyana is, the meditation part of it, but it's all part of yoga.
Mm-hmm.
All those things make up a bigger umbrella of yoga.
Okay.
So it's very interesting how it's a lifestyle. The whole
Right.
yoga thing is a lifestyle. And so meditation, all that kind of stuff goes in with it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is really cool.
I'm glad you added that because, of course, our conversations are totally unscripted.
Yeah.
And so I had thought along the lines of tying in the conversations, but I'm glad you did. And I'm also glad that you brought up the fact that yoga is more than just the stretching, just the body thing. It's a whole lot more than that. And I had thought of that earlier. I was like, from our conversation last week, we almost left people thinking, well, it's just stretching, just getting on the floor, just working a few muscles. But there's a lot more to yoga. So I'm glad that you brought that up this time.
A lot more.
Yes. But anyway, as I said, hope you will, if you're not doing some form of meditation or just some quiet time or some sitting still and doing some deep breathing.
Yeah. Breath work. Pranayama.
That you will start doing it just for a few minutes. You owe it to yourself. One of the things I was thinking about when it comes to meditation and self-care in general, that so often we find ourselves trying to be everything to everybody.
Yeah.
And you're running and you're doing and you're trying to be and trying to take care of everything and everybody. And as we've heard people say so many times, but it is so true, we pour out all that we have into everyone else, and then we're trying to operate from an empty cup. Or we find ourselves trying to pour into other people from an empty cup. When you've given all you got, you can't pour in. And so you're doing them a disservice, and more importantly, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't take time to take care of yourself. So take some time. Start practicing self-care. Make it an important part of your life. Put yourself at the top of your list. We've been taught so long that it's selfish.
Yeah.
But you got to be a little selfish or self-aware before you can really help someone else out. You got to take care of yourself. You cannot continue to pour from an empty place. I remember for years, I felt like I was operating on fumes. because I would work all day at Auburn University, and then I left Auburn University and I would go to Southern Union where I taught at night, and I loved my job and I was grateful for it. But you know, trying to teach, and I was teaching classes to non-traditional students, and I felt like I needed to really pour more of myself into them, which I did, and I enjoyed it, and that actually fed me back some, but still, it was just a constant running. I was laughing just a little while ago with Adrielle about sometimes when I had to leave Auburn University and go to Southern Union, if my husband was traveling for work, I would have to, between two jobs, drop them off at my mom's house. And we were laughing about them actually not going in the house one day, but that's another story for another day. But just that constant running, not even time to stop and eat a proper meal or wash my face or change clothes, just running from one job to the next. And then sometimes I even did printing work for a local funeral home. So when I finished both of those jobs, and I spent the rest of the night, literally printing. You remember that?
Yeah.
Printing funeral programs. And so, I mean, I just got to a point where I was operating totally on E. And I had to get to a place where I started making myself a priority, and taking care of myself and doing things that fed me and that restored me so that I could continue to be there for my husband and my mom and dad. They were elderly and sickly at that time, and for my kids and for my students and for my coworkers and all of that. So self-care is really, really critical. So
It is.
I hope that's something I've passed on to you.
Yeah.
I know I passed the tendency to run around and do everything to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, I've done too much talking tonight. Did you have anything else?
I have not done too much talking.
You have anything else you wanted to add to that?
I think we covered it.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to hearing from you. Add in the comments. Do you meditate? Have you done a sound bath? What do you think about it? Would you recommend it to somebody? All right. Well, thank you for your time, and we're hoping that you will come back, see us again, subscribe, share, tell a friend, and that you will, above all, take care of yourself. Good night.